Good morning, everyone. Today is January 1st, 2025, and no, we still don't have flying cars, but mountain bikes have gotten pretty damn good these days. And today we're introducing my Knolly Fugitive 125 to the channel. And we're in Jersey, of all places, to give it a bit of a shakedown and get into some big mountain stuff. Big mountain. We're about half an hour from Manhattan, and we'll see what we can find. We're hiking the bike a wee bit. Made it up here. Fugitive putting in work. It's about 10 o'clock. 8 miles to get up here. 950 feet of climbing. And a pretty good view. Hopefully we'll start descending in a little bit. So yeah, I ended up selling my Ibis Ripmo AF right before the holidays and got about $1,100 for it and decided to start looking at short travel trail bikes again. The Ibis Ripmo was just too much bike. I got fooled into thinking that it was a pretty sprightly bike, and it was not. In fact, I felt overbiked everywhere. Only went to a bike park once last year and I was pretty disappointed by how it felt. And ultimately I had to be a bit more honest with my riding. And I decided I really like aluminum. I like shorter to mid travel. Like a 140 fork just seems to really jive with the stuff that I like to ride. And you know, something in the 120 to 130 range is probably going to be fine for 95% of the rides I do throughout the year. For me, lately the exploratory side of mountain biking and getting into more technical climbing and descending has been really enjoyable for me. You know, I like flowy trails here and there, but I like a bike that's agile enough to do a lot of technical climbing, but still confident enough geometry to do some technical descending. But I'm not talking about so much travel that you can just bomb down the stupidest rocks as fast as possible. Like, that just doesn't really interest me, which I tend to feel like is how you have to ride at a bike park. Personally, I like to pick my way through lines and, you know, try and be more trialsy about it. Wow. It's been a long time since that last clip, and we've gotten to the castle and another summit. Starting to feel a little cooked, but the Fugitive is performing well. We're about 4 hours in, 2,000 feet of climbing and 16 miles. Getting a little hungry. We're almost back to the car. Rain is definitely coming in. Oh dang. GoPro almost certainly cannot see that, but way over there is Manhattan. I was like tempted by all the carbon bikes that were on sale. You know, like Propane had bikes, carbon builds for $3,000, and I was thinking, would I actually buy my first carbon bike? You know, I was looking at about $3,000, and then this Knolly Fugitive kind of caught my eye. I saw VanCan build his up, whatever his Chilcotin, I think, with Noel, the owner, and I was really impressed by the engineering decisions that they made and kind of the value that you get. And yeah, this bike actually retails for $5,000, but due to the bike industry at the moment, it was on sale for $3,000 and I got it shipped to my door for $3,200. So would I have bought it for $5,000? Absolutely not. But I snuck in on that deal, and I think the price went back up recently, and I'm super stoked with the value for $3,000. It's an awesome build. And as I built it up, I really came to realize how well designed the frame is. I've built up one other bike from the frame up personally, which was my Grim Ripper Hardtail, but that was pretty straightforward since it had external routing. However, this is internally routed through the frame like normal, and I was kind of anxious, like, is this thing going to be easy to work on? It doesn't have tube-in-tube routing, but this thing was a dream to work on, build up from scratch, and it really made me confident that this is a bike I would want for the long haul. You know, it's easy to work on, and it just makes sense. So that was a really big selling point for me. And getting to check out Fox suspension. I've never had Fox suspension front and rear before. The Dior drivetrain I'm not a huge fan of, but I'll upgrade that eventually. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed, and I think that I'm glad I toned back my expectations of how aggressive a rider I actually am, and was honest about the terrain I personally find most enjoyable, because the Ibis Rippo was just not really doing it for me. I'm also experimenting by sizing down sort of with this bike. I decided to purchase a size medium, whereas all my other bikes have been a size large. But with the Grim Ripper Hardtail, I actually bought the size regular instead of long. So that was kind of that medium size as well. And I enjoyed the more balanced feeling between chainstay length and reach. And when I was thinking about this bike, the large is a 495mm reach and a 435mm chainstay. It's a pretty big difference between the two numbers. So I wanted to make it more comparable and get a more balanced feeling. I didn't really like such a long reach. You know, the Ripmo was a 475 and I think a 434, 435 chainstay. So nothing huge, but I wanted to make sure I was toning down the reach a little bit for a similar chainstay length. And I think that feels more appropriate for how tight and twisty our trails can be. The other cool thing about this bike is that Knolly uses the same frame to build up their 125mm bike as well as the 140mm bike. So you can just overstroke the shock by 5mm, and you could bump up the fork to 150 if you wanted and kind of get that mid-travel trail bike feel. And so that kind of added to the value for me in case I decided this isn't quite as efficient as I wanted. Maybe I'll make it a longer travel bike and look for a more focused XC bike. That possibility is open to me. And then I guess due to the weird warehouse availability, overstocking, out of stock, stuff like that, they actually upgraded my drivetrain to an SLX derailleur, and they gave me SLX brakes instead of the Dior level brakes. So that was pretty nice. So that really boosted the value for me even more, and super glad that I bit the bullet and purchased this thing, because I think before it even got to my door, like I said, the deal ended and the price went back up to $4,800. So I feel really satisfied so far that I got this thing. It definitely needs some tweaks to make it fit my personal preferences. Probably will cut down the bars, and it needs a longer dropper post. But other than that, super excited about it. Can't wait to show more of it on the channel, and hopefully you enjoyed watching. So remember, stay venturing, my friends.
Jersey Death March complete.